It's been way too long since I last gave an update, and I have friends and patients who have been contacting me to ask me if I'm okay. And some days I'm okay, and some days I'm not. Today is one of those days where I'm just sad. Sad for our nation, and sad for our politics and our politicians, wondering what we have become as a nation. Here are my thoughts for today. I feel like everyone's holding their breath waiting for this hurricane to pass over us. Let it reach inland and die out. But I wish that were the case, because I think if you look at the medical experts and the epidemiologists, they're saying expect this to be in our environment for the next 2 to 5 years before we really have a handle on it. Now, I have wishful thinking that it'll all go away this summer and that it won't resurface in the fall. But we have no knowledge that it has seasonality or that it's going to go away. So the likelihood is it's not. We're going to have to deal with this for a long time. So I think we should stop holding our breath and thinking of this as a hurricane, but instead think of this as a stationary cyclone. It's stuck over us, and it'll spin at different speeds, and the rate at which it spins will depend on how well we control the spread of this disease. The cyclone has a predetermined speed for its minimum, meaning that we can only influence how fast it accelerates. And right now, there's a lot of political unrest, especially down in southern Illinois. So let me try to explain what the shelter-in-place order did. Its main goal was to make the cyclone spin slower, give us time to assess the situation and the damages from the wind of the cyclone. Clearly, it did spin with massive destruction out in New York City. And in fact, locally here, we saw it kind of pick up speed up in our town of Newton. Our goal in Illinois was to see if we could slow that spin down so we didn't end up like New York. So sheltering in place slows the spread of the virus. It doesn't stop the spread, it slows the spread. But slowing that spread gives us, the medical professionals, time to get protective equipment so that we are alive to take care of you. It also gives me the hope that I don't have to quit medicine if I run out of protective equipment, because I'm going to save my family and my own life before I worry about should I be doing this irresponsibly and harming myself or harming my patients. So allow us time to get that protective equipment, which is still slow. It also gives us time to show that the presidentially recommended drug is actually harmful and should not be used, and you should not drink bleach or gargle with it. It's given us time to figure out that maybe there are some antiviral drugs that seem to help ICU stays, but we're still in our infancy of understanding this virus. What we need and still need is time to figure out what this virus looks like so that we have the least amount of wind damage. When we go back to more excursions outside of our house, and in some states there's now free reign, in Illinois there's a modified shelter-in-place order, you have to remember that this hurricane did not pass over us. It's still here. The cyclone is still here. So expect that it's going to spin faster again as we let more people do things. And we need to be prepared for this for the long haul. We need to start thinking of solutions instead of being part of the problem in spreading this virus. Now, as a physician, my duty every single day is to recommend what is the best we have right now and what is the standard of care. Things will change, and that is why you hear one day this works and the next day it doesn't. We are learning more and more every day. Each of us has the power to help limit our exposure to this virus and decrease our risk. Slow this cyclone down. And as of right now, sheltering in place is helping the cyclone spin slower. We get the least amount of destruction from its winds. What are those things we can do? We can wear a mask. It'll help us not aerosolize as much of the virus particles if you have it. In addition, for the ones wearing it, it psychologically puts us on alert that there is a virus still in the environment, that we need to be washing our hands, not touching our face, not touching common surfaces, cleaning common surfaces more. And so the mask not only helps prevent the spread of the virus, but it also makes us cognizant that the virus is still here. There will be times in medicine where we get stuff wrong. Physicians are not infallible. Okay? Doctors once prescribed thalidomide. We learned from that. We will continue to learn and to adopt what will hopefully be the safest and best practices in this pandemic. There is no absolute, and anyone who tells you that there's an absolute is wrong, because we're just doing what is best practice right now. And we are, as physicians and epidemiologists and infectious disease specialists, recommending that you wear a mask in public, that you distance yourself 6 feet away from others, that you stay home as much as possible. And the last you should not be doing is being cavalier and thinking that this is no big deal. Because it is a big deal when you're the one who's sick, when you're the one taking care of the sick, or unfortunately, when you're burying the ones that were sick. This is not about individual rights. This is about trying to save as many lives as possible by not allowing the stationary cyclone to spin quickly. And somewhere we lost in our great country that we need to do things for the common good. We have the ability. We are smart enough, but we have lost the common good over greed, over my individuality. So we need to prepare for the next 18 months to maybe 4 or 5 years that we're going to have to work around the coronavirus. I want to go back to work. I want to go back to a normal economy. I really do. I want to be able to look my patients in the eyes, to examine them. I don't want a headache anymore from wearing my mask all day. I want to go back to normal. But I don't want to go back to the normal that we had. Any attempts to go back to normal are a fallacy. We're going to be different. And attempts to go back to that is going to be too early. And it's going to make this devastating cyclone spin faster like we've never seen. We are smart enough to figure out how to feed people who aren't making ends meet. We're smart enough to figure out how to help one another. We can help the least of these without killing the least of those. And that will make us the most powerful, rich nation in the world, like we're supposed to be. Anything else is lip service to us being the best. So my recommendations as a physician: stay home, wear a mask, help your neighbors, follow someone like Dr. Fauci, who has the credentials to lead this nation, and not some politician trying to gain ratings to win an election. I am sad today, but I also have hope that we will, the majority of us at least, will continue to do the right thing, to think not only about our own lives, our family lives, but those of our community, so that we can help the least of these without killing the least of those. Until next time, I wish you well and stay safe.